Good morning! Welcome to the first day of 4th grade! Not only is it the first day of 4th grade for my students, but it is the first day of 4th grade for me, and I am very, very excited. We only have 2 days to welcome kids this week. We had 3 days of teacher prep and meetings, and then today's Thursday, so we have kids today and tomorrow, and then next week starts curriculum. So not as much stuff that I've had to prep for the first couple days of like fun, get to know you kind of stuff, but I still want to share with you guys, so I'm gonna go do that and then I'll be back. Whew. Okay, it is now after school. It is 3:50. The kids left at 2:28 and I am just now for the first time able to kind of sit down and take a breath. Whew. I very much underestimated how exhausting the first day of school is, especially because we haven't been back in school for what, 2 years now. It's always tiring because you're talking a lot and you're doing a lot, but the kids forgot how to be in school, I feel like, and they're so excited to be here and to see each other, and there's a lot more of them than I'm used to. I had 30 students here today. I had 31, but one of them went home sick and then one was just gone. I could have up to 34, but right now on my roster is 32. In 3rd grade at the school I used to be at, we had a cap of, I think, 24. So big adjustment having 10 more bodies in here. Definitely a little bit harder to manage, and they're a little bit older, so I feel like they kind of pushed those boundaries a little bit more. Definitely a rambunctious group. I'm very excited. They were super sweet, very, very, very chatty. A lot of the little like attention getters and things that we normally do. Normally they're like nervous, so they usually like snap into it really quickly. Definitely was not the case today. I'm very tired. Okay, so waiting for them when they came in was just a half piece of paper that I had them fold, and they made a little nameplate out of it. I didn't have any stickers to do like name tags, and also I wanted them to have something to do while parents were coming in the morning and, you know, checking out the room and saying hi and dropping off supplies and things. So I just left this on their desk with some crayons and a pencil. They got to design it. I took attendance, which if you are new or at a new school like I am today, I forgot to ask how to take attendance. So I went to try to log into what I thought it was, and my login wasn't working, and I was like, no! So, pro tip, find that out. And find out where you're supposed to take your students after school, because that is also something I forgot to do. And I had 2 parents ask me when they first dropped kids off, and I was like, oh, I don't know. So if you don't want to look dumb, find that out ahead of time, because I definitely felt stupid a little bit. So then after that, we did a get to know your teacher quiz. Miss Romeo has a niece and nephew, likes to roller skate, favorite store is Target, likes to dance, love plants, eats sushi, good piano player, all kinds of things that are about me. And then on the side it says true or false, so they got to decide if they thought it was true or false. And then after that, we went over it together and I told them the answers. I kept this one because one of my students on the back, I don't know if you can see that, says, "We love Miss Romeo, she is the best, we love you." This was in like the first, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes, and I was like, oh, keeping that forever. So that made me feel good, especially because 4th graders kind of scare me just a little bit because they're older than kids that I've had before. I've always done 3rd grade, which isn't that different. And I was like, are they gonna be like too cool, or like, I don't know, like not like school anymore, or not like the teacher anymore, or whatever, you know, like, I don't know, I wasn't sure how different it'd be, but they're still very sweet, so that was cute. And then at 8:40, we did a school tour. I put it in here so I had all this information. This is like the binder where I keep all the school information, the map, class list, all kinds of things in case I need like a quick find. And then we went around the school. It took probably 30 minutes and just showed students where everything was, the administration office, library, bike rack, where they eat lunch, multi-purpose room, playground, cafeteria, all of that kind of stuff, and like what the rules are for that, which was good for me to do with them because I didn't know those things myself, so I was glad we were paired up with another teacher for that. I don't exactly remember what order we did these because the way that I wrote them down, we didn't necessarily do it in that order. I kind of gauged how they were feeling and what we needed at the time. For example, at one point we were going over class rules and I could see that they were getting kind of like squirmy, and so I was like, all right, you know what, let's pause here. We're gonna do something where you guys can get up and move around, and then we'll come back to this later because you're not listening anyways if you're kind of squirmy and over it. So these might not be in order, but I'm just gonna tell you what we did. We went over flexible seating slides, so let me show those to you really quick. So these are the same rules that are up on our wall, and we talked about this right after I showed them the different spots, which I will walk you around and show you them in a second. These are in my TPT store, along with a bulletin board kit, parent letter to send home explaining what it is, all kinds of goodies in there about how to make it successful. So these are the rules. Choose a spot that helps you to be successful. Stay focused on your task the entire time. Use each seat appropriately. I have the right to move anyone, anytime. Take good care of all of our materials. Put them back where you found them. Do not distract others. And to share, because your favorite spot might be someone else's too. So let me go show you what we have. I'm going to be doing a whole video sometime soon, I don't know when exactly, about how I use flexible seating in my class. But as you can see, there are a ton of desks. Today, the kiddos all sat in a desk. I had a piece of paper when they first came in for their name tag, and I just said you can sit at a spot that has a piece of paper in it. But then over here, don't mind the supplies. Some of them dropped off supplies this morning. Here we have this flexible seating, some yoga balls, some wobble stools, and some regular stools that spin and are on wheels. So we need to talk about how they can use those. And then these little pink seats are usually over there too, but I had 2 extra kiddos today that weren't on my roster, so I didn't have a spot for them necessarily. And then over in our library, we have this low table, which students will be able to sit at as a home-based seat eventually, once we have our cubbies that are not in yet. And then we've got these beach chairs. They can take the cushions anywhere they want. Those are surf seats, the blue ones, and then the other ones are lap desks. And then eventually they'll be able to sit in these yellow chairs as well. If I'm not sitting there with a student, then they are welcome to sit there, just not all day. They can sit there like to read and things. And then we also have these 2, we call them privacy chairs. They can sit in those anytime to read, to do independent work of any kind. Obviously, this is not a good spot to do partner work because they won't be able to see someone sitting next to them, but maybe one of their partners is sitting here. I don't know. The layout is different here than in my old classroom because this is my first year here, so we're gonna have to play around and see what works with us with this room. So obviously, before students are able to use the flexible seating, they need to know how to use it, what the rules are, and all of that. So after that, I went over and showed them, okay, this is the way that you use a yoga ball. Does this look like it's helping me to be successful? And I would bounce crazy, and they're like, no. And then I show them how to do it. Same with like spinning on the chairs or rocking on the wobble stools. And we talk about why it's not appropriate. Things like breaking things, getting hurt, distracting others, not being able to do our work. It's a tool, not a toy. And it is a privilege, not a right. So it can get taken away. To talk about class rules, I read them, Our Class is a Family. It's a really good intro to talking about classroom community and how we can build that. And so instead of just being like, these are our rules, as far as how we interact in the classroom and how we want our classroom to be and feel like, I wanted them to have input on that. I would get up and go show you what they wrote, but I am so exhausted and I want to get out of here. So I'm just going to read you from my whiteboard what they wrote. They said, in order to have the best year ever and the best classroom ever, the things that we want to do are to have fun and do fun activities, work together as a team, study together, treat others the way they want to be treated. And we talked about the difference between treat others how we want to be treated versus treat others how they want to be treated. Help each other, be patient, be respectful, include everyone, raise your hand to speak, get to know each other, share, and listen when others are speaking. So I'm gonna put that on just a big piece of chart paper. I don't have any yet, or else we would have done it on that today. And then I'm gonna have them all sign it. We're gonna have it up on the wall, and if there's ever an issue, we're gonna refer back to that. Hey, we all agreed together that these are the set of norms that we want to have in our classroom, our mission statement, if you will. And we need to make sure that we're contributing positively to our classroom community and following the guidelines that we all decided were best for us to have the best year ever. So that kind of gives them a little bit more ownership of it and includes them a little more in the process instead of just being like, this is what the rules are and you're going to follow them. I found that that doesn't necessarily work that great. And then we also did Get to Know You Jenga. So I just got all these little boxes of mini Jenga or mini tumbling tower game. I just colored each end a different color from the rainbow colors and then pink and black. This is in my TPT store if you want it, but each color correlates to telling your partner something about yourself. So they'll pull a Jenga piece and then whatever color it is, that's what they're gonna tell their partner. So, and then I told them if you pull one and you don't really know what to say for that color, just tell them anything you want. Really, it's just to get to know each other. So if you have something else you wanna share, go for it. I only needed 8 of these, so that was only $8, and it was so fun and they really enjoyed it. And then the kids who were done and kind of over it, they used these to make dominoes, which was kind of fun. And then we are going to be starting our reading workshop on Monday. This is the shortest time I've ever had with students as like a get to know you beginning of the year. We've always had at least 3 days. My last school, we had a whole week some years. My first year, I think it was just 3 days. But this year we only have 2 days and then we're starting hot with curriculum on Monday. So we started reading The Tiger Rising by Kate DiCamillo because this is the mentor text for our reading workshop for our first unit. And we are starting that Monday, so we need to be a couple chapters ahead so we can discuss it. So we started that and they actually really liked it. I have never read this before, but it starts out really heavy. Like in the first 2 chapters, it talks about a kid getting bullied and the kid's mom dying. And I was like, and then we also did this Find Someone Who game. So you give each one of the kids one of these and they have to go around the room and kind of interview their classmates. They can only put each kid's name in here once. So for example, if they put Jess for this one, they can't put Jess for this one. And then they also can't just go to their neighbor and be like, who'd you put for this? Who'd you put for that? To try to get done. Part of having a classroom community is knowing the people in your classroom community. And so we're gonna spend a lot of time this first month, and honestly all year, not getting to know each other all year, but working together all year. So this first month is really important to make sure that they get acclimated with each other, comfortable with each other. That way they are comfortable taking risks later because they're not with a bunch of strangers, they're with people that they know really well. And then I think the only other thing that we did, actually get up and show you what they look like. Even though I'm tired, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, so all around the room, there are these sheets. Each one has 1 letter on it and 1 question. I'm gonna show you the sheet afterwards where they do the recording on, but basically they have a place where they're gonna answer each of these questions. They are not all starting at the same letter. They are dispersed around the room and the letters spell out first day. So actually, let me take you this way. So this is F, I, R got put over here. I moved my printer so I could use it, but it wasn't here before. That's R. S. T. D. A. And Y. So then the sheet that they get looks like this. It has all of the letters that correspond to the letters that are on the sheets. This back one is in color because that's my master copy. But then they have this huge chunk of space where they can write their answer. And then it also kind of serves as a good little like pre-assessment for me with writing and grammar. Do they use complete sentences? How is their punctuation, their spelling, their handwriting? Their answers are super cute. Maybe I'll share some of them with you tomorrow. It's already 4:30, so I'm not gonna stay too much longer today, but I am gonna pick you guys back up tomorrow and show you what we're doing. Really quick, one thing that we definitely aren't gonna be doing that you could do is this marshmallow challenge. I've always had more time in the week. Instead of just 2 days, we've had either 3 or a week. So I needed more like filler stuff or group activities or get to know you stuff. And this is one that's really popular. It's called the Marshmallow Challenge. If you haven't heard of it, you can just literally Google this or put it into Pinterest and this exact sheet will come up for free. Basically, they're given spaghetti, marshmallows, tape, and twine, and they have to make the tallest tower that they can working together. I'm gonna get out of here and go get something to eat and get that frozen Coke, get in my PJs and go sleep for like 12 hours, and then I'll see you guys back here. Good morning, friends. Happy Friday. Even though it's not Friday for you, happy Friday to me. Today is our second day of school and obviously the last day of the week. On Monday, we're jumping right into curriculum. So today we're kind of wrapping up those first day things. We're gonna do a couple more fun things and then a couple more procedural things so that we're ready for Monday. So to start, I have this list of first week procedures that I made and then have just kind of added to as I've seen fit based on the new school and classroom and grade and everything. I kind of watched yesterday and saw what kinds of things I wanted to go over with them and added that to this list. So some of the basic things I have on here are like, how do they use the bathroom? Not how do they use the bathroom, but like how do they let me know they need to use the bathroom? So we're just gonna do this. They just hold that up. This just tells me they need to go to the bathroom, and then I can just say, oh yeah, go ahead. And it doesn't interrupt much. Water bottles and getting a drink. We do have a sink this year. Very excited about that. I've never had one. I've always been in a portable. So one of the things that I want to make sure I tell them is that if you're washing your hands or using the sink, you need to wipe around it afterwards and then go throw that paper towel away, because yesterday there was water all over the counter and I was like, that is not happening. And we have our custodian just came in the room and caught me recording, and that was embarrassing. I also have a huge window right next to me, and I realized yesterday when I went outside, I looked over and I could see directly into my room from all the way across the quad. So no idea who's watching, but that's embarrassing. Oh well, gonna keep going. The next one, raising your hand. We definitely talked about that yesterday, but that was a big issue. There was so much shouting out and talking over each other and talking over me and side conversations and all of that stuff. So I know the kids are excited. They haven't been in school in a long time because of COVID, so being very flexible on that and understanding, but also want to set that norm from the very beginning so that doesn't continue to be an issue. Talking about the turn-in bin, where they put things, when to turn things in, how I want them to turn things in as far as who turns in stuff when, if we're all turning things in at one time. We're gonna have a leader grab them from our table, things like that. Cubbies we don't have yet. Those are being ordered from the school, and that's going to be what they use for flexible seating. They'll just put all of their stuff in that, and then each day they'll grab it and take it to their seat. So we kind of talked about that a little bit, but it's tough right now because they started bringing supplies, but I don't have anywhere for them to put them because our desks don't even have inserts. It's not like before where I took them off for flexible seating because we already had the bins. This is just how our desks came. So we're gonna get cubbies sometime. I think they already got ordered, so hopefully they're here by next week and we can get those supplies. We're gonna talk about cleanup procedure and morning procedure as far as what I want them to do, but again, that's gonna depend on their cubbies because a lot of that is like grab your cubby in the morning, take it to your spot, get started on whatever, and then at the end of the day, where you put things, who's gonna put them in when, all that kind of stuff. A lot of these first week procedures that I would normally do are different this year now that I'm in a new classroom and at a new school. Really, I and the students are having to be very flexible. We have an electric pencil sharpener over on the counter. A lot of them brought little hand sharpeners yesterday and there was already stuff all over the floor. Even though I told them we're not using hand sharpeners, you can use that whenever, as long as I'm not in the middle of like teaching a direct lesson. Just sharpen your pencil whenever you need to. So we're gonna talk about that again today. Library checkout, we're gonna talk about how the books are organized, when they can go get books, how to put them back. We're gonna hire a librarian who can organize them. And if you haven't seen my classroom setup videos, I had my books organized by genre, but I took them all out and they're gonna be organized by author. But I need some help from parents with that because it's a big task and I just simply don't have time right now with moving classrooms and starting a new school, new grade level, new curriculum, everything. So I'm gonna need some help, so we're gonna talk about that, and then in the meantime, they're still organized by genre because I just took them out of the bin and put them, you know, next to each other. So again, they're gonna have to be a little flexible with me, but we're gonna talk about that and how to pick a book. So we're gonna use the 5-finger rule and the iPick method. I'll put a picture here from Pinterest so you can see just what the method is, and then I'll talk more about it when I do my book chat vlog, which is coming soon. We're gonna talk about homework folders and Friday folders when they bring these back, what should be in them. Backpacks, where they put them. Our desks have hooks on them, so they're gonna just hook them on there. If they are choosing to sit at a counter spot that I showed you yesterday, they're just gonna put their backpack underneath the counter in front of them. We need to talk about running in class because I saw that yesterday, especially in regards to flexible seating. They're not allowed to just rush over to one spot to try to like beat someone else to it. So we're gonna talk about that. And then once I put them in houses today, I'll tell you what that means in a second. I'm gonna let them choose call and responses. I was thinking like, think of your favorite TikTok trend, and then we can turn that into a call and response where I say part of it and then you guys respond the other part. Where the trash can is, where hand sanitizer and tissues are, things like that. Those are all the first week procedures that we're gonna go over today at some point. And then I also need to give them their homework folders, and I'm gonna have them help me stuff them. So inside of this is just a sheet protector, and what's gonna be inside of that is the book chat log, which looks like this. This is a communication tool that I use with parents to keep up on their reading. Don't mind my chipped nail polish. So the kids leave this in their homework folder in that sheet protector. When they finish a book, they put it in the book chat box. I fill this out with the information, how many pages there were, what type of book it was, the title, and then a score based on their comprehension. And then that's how parents can see how their kiddos are doing. This gives us a log, kind of like a reading log, but instead of them being able to just write down, oh, I read 20 minutes and just keep signing it. In my experience, kids just lie about that and it's not effective, and it's just kind of like a busy thing, and then you're not actually even getting to have that one-on-one conversation with students to see how their reading is going. So this is more time consuming because I have to meet with every student, but it's the best way that I've seen to actually get to know my students as readers, help them pick books, check in on their comprehension, have that one-on-one time with them, and then also it gives them an opportunity to get excited about reading and get to talk about the reading that they're doing, which is something that kids don't often get to do. Kind of like how adults like to have book clubs because they like to discuss what they're reading. Kids like to do the same thing. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do book clubs later in the year, but more on that coming later. The other things that they're gonna be putting in their folders are a volunteer form if their parents want to volunteer. I've heard from my coworkers that there's a lot of parent help at this school, so I'm gonna make sure that they have that. I'm not gonna show you the next one because it has a bunch of information of like personal emails and my school name and things like that. So there's a welcome letter that has all of the 4th grade team emails, how we do grades, how we do homework, a welcome to 4th grade section, a thing about absences and conduct, and then 2 titles of books that we are gonna be reading in class for a novel study that we don't have a class set of, but if they want to bring them, they can. This side doesn't have personal information. The next thing I'm going to send home is a supply list. We're going to go over this together because most of them didn't bring supplies, but these are all the things that they're going to need to bring in. I am at a school where we can ask for supplies and they will get brought in. If a student can't bring them, then I will be able to provide them, but that won't be very many kids, if any. So I'm going to be sending this home, but I know a lot of schools do not send supply lists home and they provide supplies. It just is different depending on where you're at. And then this is something that I stole from my master teacher that I really like, as well as book chats. That came from her. That was not my idea. This is something that I always send home at the beginning of the year. It says, tell me about your child in 1,000,000 words or less. And it gives the parents an opportunity to tell me about their child and tell me anything that they would want me to know right off the bat. So there's all the basic information, just like birthday, parent's name, phone, email, that stuff. And then I'm just gonna read you the sections. What are your child's strengths and weaknesses? Any school-age siblings? Do you have a homework routine? What motivates your child? 5 words that describe your child. This year, 3 goals for your child are: what kinds of things upset your child? Are there any personal or medical issues I should be aware of? Any holidays your family does not celebrate? A few of my child's favorite things, and then any other comments or concerns you would like to share. I would highly recommend sending something like this at the beginning of the year because, one, it gives you an opportunity to get to know your students before you have an opportunity to get to know them, and it's really cool to be able to see them through their parents' eyes, who are the people who love them the most, or whoever their guardians are. And then it also shows parents that you care about getting to know their child and that it's important to you to know them. Okay, next we are going to do our house sorting. If you haven't heard of the house system from other teachers, it's from the Ron Clark Academy. Think of like Harry Potter houses where students are split up and working in teams to earn points together for different things. So we have 6 houses in our class. We have 32 students right now, so 2 of the houses are gonna have 1 extra student. But basically, I just put the names of the different houses that we have. There's 6 of them, so I just put 6 of each one, and whatever 2 houses get an extra mate, then that was just fate. So I'm just gonna walk around with a bucket and I'm just gonna have them pull a random ticket. Whatever ticket they pull, that's the house that they are in. This one is Viribus. And then they're gonna meet with their housemates once they find out who's on their team. And I'm just gonna give them a bookmark. These are from Teacher Goals, and there's a bunch of different ones of them. They're super cute. So this is just a really low stake activity that we can do to give them an opportunity to get to know their housemates and to sit together and to do something that doesn't require them to do a lot of thinking. So they're gonna get a chance to color, and then I'm gonna have them decide those call and responses with their housemates. And then I meant to do this yesterday, but we just ran out of time. This is all about their first day in 4th grade. So when I entered my new room, I was happy when I found out. Adjectives to describe my day, a section about my teacher, a few things I did today, and then a part all about me. So I would really like to see how their first day went and what their thoughts and feelings were about it. And then we do need to do a little intro math assessment. We are starting strong with our math curriculum and our reading and writing and social studies and science curriculum on Monday. So I'm gonna give them a quick multiplication test. This is not gonna be timed. I'm gonna give them as much time as they need. For me, it's less important that they have that fluency down and more important that they can do it at all, as long as they have a strategy. Now, of course, if a student is taking 30 minutes to do a sheet of multiplication questions, that tells me that they need a lot of support with multiplication. I don't want to give them a time limit because a lot of students have test anxiety. I know I had a lot of test anxiety. All I'm going to do is have them write the time that they finished the assessment at, because we're all going to start at the same time, and that will tell me how long it took them and who might need some extra support with multiplication. Next, we're gonna do a reflection of flexible seating. We're probably gonna do this towards the end of the day because I'm gonna give them opportunities like when they're sitting with their housemates, when they're doing the multiplication quiz, when they're doing the following directions quiz. They're gonna be able to sit wherever they want. So we're gonna start this reflection. On one side, there's an opportunity to write the seating tool, and then they can circle either love, like, or don't like, and then write why they felt like that. I feel like that helps instead of them just going and rushing towards whatever seat their friend's at, really thinking about what seat do I need in order to be successful? Do I need to have movement? Do I want to sit on a yoga ball? Do I like to have side-to-side movement on a stool or a swivel seat? Do I like being low to the ground? And then on the back, it has questions. So it says, what is choice seating? Why do we have it? What should you do if a spot's not working for you? What is one way to use the tools appropriately? What does it mean to choose a spot where I work the best? And what will happen if you do not take care of the supplies or choose the best spot? So over here I have our Essential 35, which became Essential 30. This is also from Ron Clark Academy, and I just picked the ones that I felt went best with my personal teaching style and what I want to teach my students. And so each week we're gonna have a goal. I'm just gonna move it down to here. These are just taped on there. So this week's goal, we're working on greeting visitors and making them feel welcome. So the Ron Clark one says, shake hands, tell him or her who you are, and welcome that person. That works great if it's just one-on-one. But if we're in class and a guest walks in, I don't want them to all, obviously shake their hand ahead and tell them who they are. So in years past, when guests walk in, the students would just shout, "Welcome to our classroom," but it kind of was discombobulated because they were saying it at different times. What I'm thinking is having one student that be like their job, and it can rotate, but to start off just one student, and they can say, "Class, we have a guest," and then the rest of the class will say, "Welcome, we're happy you're here." And then we keep going. And I wanted them to do the clap because that gives them an opportunity to then afterwards be quiet, and I can ask the guests, like if it's the principal or something, like, "Hey, do you need something, or are you just here to watch?" And then if they're just here to watch, then we can keep going. So I'll let you know how that works out. I feel like it'll go well, but we'll see. And then we went over a little bit when we talked about the first week procedures, but we're gonna talk a little bit more about the library and how we can pick books. And then I'm gonna give them a chance to go pick books, and then they can silent read. And again, they're gonna be able to do that in their different spots. And we're gonna be working on reading stamina. I think our first goal is just gonna be like 5 to 8 minutes. We're gonna start really slow. We're gonna track the minutes so we can see how we've grown and made progress and celebrate that success. And then that should be it, but I do have a couple more things just in case somehow we go through all of that stuff really quickly, although I really think we have more than we need because yesterday took a lot more time than I thought. But this is just all about me. The kids really like it. It's an iPhone or an iPad, I guess. They can draw a picture of themselves in there. And then there's just little prompts on the rest of them. So like this one looks like a test. "Hi, how was your summer?" They have a place to write. And then at the bottom it says, "Thank you for sharing," from the other person. The next one, "What are your goals this year?" They have a space to write. And then the other person said, "I can't wait to watch you achieve them." And then there's one more. It says, "I'd like to learn all about you. How old are you?" And then a bubble for them to respond. "What is your favorite food? When is your birthday? And what makes you special?" So we could do that, and that could be like a little thing that I have them cut out and we could put it up somewhere. So we'll see if we get to that. And then this is something that I've always done with my 3rd graders, but we might not do it. So I just give them a blank template of a head. They can draw themselves, make a little selfie, cut it out. And then in the sunglasses, there's a space for them to write, and they can write about how their summer was, what they're looking forward to this year, really anything that they want. And then they cut out the glasses, we glue it onto the head, glue it onto a piece of construction paper, and it becomes the first thing that we put on the wall. So I'm gonna ask them if they wanna do that. If they do, awesome. If they don't, awesome. This is the last thing. It's a letter to myself. This is something that my coworker gave me as well, and he said he has them do it on the first week, saves it for them, and then gives it to them at the end of the year so that they can keep it and see how much they've grown. This one says, "My best friends are, if I were king or queen of the world, I'd spend my days." The thing that I'm a little nervous about this year is, this year I'm looking forward to, by the end of the year I hope to learn. And then it has a place for their name, height, age, and a bunch of their favorites like food, movie, song, things like that. So this is just kind of like a filler thing, but it might be something cool to give them at the end of the year as like a keepsake thing. So that is what I have planned for our first week. Again, since it's only 2 days, there's not as much stuff as before. I do have a vlog from, not last year, but the year before, from the last year that we were in person, because last year we were completely virtual for most of the year. And so if you need some more ideas, I have more activities on that. I will link it down below. I hope that you have an awesome start to your year. I know it's exciting being back, and it's a little nerve-wracking because we haven't been back, most of us, for a long time. I know that I definitely feel like I forgot how to teach. I forgot what we do on the first day. It's weird being in person with kids again. I miss the mute all button, but it's also amazing to be in person with them again, and I'm super excited. So I hope you're feeling that same way. I hope you have an awesome year, and I will see you guys soon for another video. Bye!